Why am I shirtless? Why? I was working. Yes. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna find a shirt and I'm gonna put it on. Let's get me ready for this video. It's really boiling, but I've decided to put a shirt on, you know, just to spare you guys. Let's get some mood lighting set for this. It's not really a mood lighting type of video, but oh, that's kind of cute. Bit of orange, a little bit purple, maybe a bit, oh, you know what? Let's go for sinful red. Let's do this video in the bowels of hell. So, I'm a bandana man now. I wear bandanas. It's just what I do. It's the new me. I'm only joking. I've kind of been forced to this because my hair is getting so long that it now gets in my eyes, so I have to put this bandana on. Yeah, you might have been wondering, and you probably already know from the title, why I've decided to go for a sinful red look in this video. It's because today we're speaking about sin. Please stay. Please watch my video. Okay, so the reason we are speaking about that today is because, I don't know, I was just watching some videos online, and for some reason, I don't know what YouTube algorithm was thinking, they suggested to me some video about being transgender, and it was by a priest speaking about it, and I was just like, okay, I mean, I might as well click on it. I haven't been preached at by a priest from the Catholic Church since I left the convent. Also, another little bit of prefix, I actually grew up in a all-girls, like, private convent boarding school thingy. I didn't stay there for the boarding school, but you know, I was brought up in it. So I kind of have a lot of a back history with like the Catholic Church and everything like that, and the teachings and like how you feel within it, especially being LGBT within the Catholic Church. So I have some words to say on this stuff, but I don't know, I just kind of wanted to get into the video and react to whatever the hell this person is going to say. Okay, so if any of you guys are Catholic or religious, just in general, this is not a diss on you, just please wait till the end of the video. So the first video that popped up was Bruce Jenner and the transgender question, and I saw this guy doing his like priest thing. Is it priest or vicar? I probably should know, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's a priest, Cool. Let's get on with the video.
Hi, my name is Father Mike Schmitz, and this is Ascension Presents. So I was over Memorial Day weekend hanging out with my family.
I'm really sorry to pause it so soon, but oh, you know, there are those people that go out and they try and sort of recruit people into the church and go and say the teachings and say, you should come join our church. I've had some people come up to me and ask me to go and see the church, and they go to your door and knock on your door. All you need to do is say that this man is going to be the priest, and people will flock. I would go back to church if he was going to be my priest. Let's see what he has to say.
So I was over Memorial Day weekend hanging out with my family, and one of my nephews, he pretended he was a dog. And you know, have you ever do that with a little kid when they're like, I'm a puppy, and you're like, okay, and you have the ball and you throw the ball and they come back with it and you're playing around. At one point it was time for supper, and so I was like, okay buddy, you know, time to get up, wash your hands, get ready for supper. He's like, no, I'm a puppy. And you know, I'm the fun uncle. That's what priests are, the fun uncle. So I'm like, I'm not gonna correct this kid. I just kind of directed him to his parents, and his parents were like, listen, you're a little boy, you're not a dog, wash your hands and sit at the table. And I thought, all right, that's good. That's good parenting right there. Where, you know, here's the kid. Maybe he really thinks he's a dog, but the reality is you're not a dog. And I was thinking about this and thinking about that love that my nephew's parents have for him when it comes to this big thing in the news, of course, which is Bruce Jenner or anyone else.
To be fair, he could tell me that I deserve to burn in hell and that I'm a sinner and that he wishes I die. Like, he could tell me anything and I'd just be like, yeah, I agree, those baby blues.
So experiences the sense of being transgendered, the idea that I have Bruce Jenner's case, I have a man's body, but I'm not really a man. I've always felt like a woman. You know, people will say, are you very judgmental? Here's what I'm saying, that I have no judgment on this thing. I just have an assessment. I'm not saying that Bruce Jenner is evil. I just think that perception of him saying I'm actually a woman, I just think that assessment or that perception is off. I think it's inaccurate. And here's what I mean.
I mean, I guess it's good to say not a judgment, but it's kind of the same thing. I'm just going to listen to what he has to say.
Okay, those of you who are men who are watching this, those of you who are women who are watching this, women, what does it feel like to be a woman? Guys, what does it feel like to be a man? Flip it around and say, men, do you have any idea what it feels like to be a woman? And women, do you have any idea what it feels like to be a man? No, the reality is, of course, we don't. We have no idea what it feels like to be a member of the opposite sex. All we have, this is crazy, all we have is gender stereotypes. Here's what I mean.
Okay, so I understand what he's going to say here, and I think you only realise the difference. That's the kind of thing of being transgender, I guess. You realise the difference, that you feel different to what your body, it's very hard to explain to people who don't feel it, but you mentally feel different to what your body is in gender-wise to what your body actually is. So I'll just continue watching, but I just wanted to make that statement. It is different to like stereotypes, gender stereotypes sort of thing.
There are stories about, here's the young boy and his parents say, well, we're treating him like a girl. He really is a girl because he identifies as a girl. Why? Well, ever since he was little, we didn't have to tell him. He liked dolls more than he liked trucks. He liked dresses more than he liked jeans. He liked pink more than he liked blue. And you think of that, wait a second, that's how you know that your little boy is actually a girl? Because he just happens to like things that are traditionally associated with girls?
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there. So the thing about this is when I was growing up and everything like this, I liked traditionally girl things. I liked a few things that were stereotypically guy things as well and stereotypically girl things, but mostly I liked things that were seen as stereotypically girl things, like the makeup and the princess outfits and the crowns and the being, you know what I mean, like a sassy little girl, that kind of stuff. But that I still felt different in my gender. It is a different thing and it's kind of been seen. I'm going to make a video about the biology behind it soon, but it is a different thing. It's to do with the brain and the neurological pathways. It's a whole thing. There are plenty of people who, for example, I know some people who aren't FTM. I'm FTM, female to male, whereas I know some MTF people, male to female, that have always still liked tomboyish stuff. They've liked traditionally male stuff, or traditionally stuff that men usually like, or stereotypically stuff that men usually like, and they've still felt different and decided to transition to be their true selves, and they're still tomboys and things like that. So I understand what he's saying, that sometimes I'm sure people do get it mixed up, but there are gay guys that have all their lives like things that were stereotypically female, like makeup and all this kind of stuff, and they're not transitioning. So it's often very much confused expression and this and that, but it's two different things. But you can't just erase the one of it that actually being transgender exists. You can't just do that.
My brother-in-law, he's patient, he's kind, he's gentle with his kids, stay-at-home dad. Traditionally, things associated with women. How do we know he's not a woman? Well, because he looks at his body. His body reveals that he's actually a man. Here's the crazy thing, is if my perception doesn't match up with reality, it's not reality that has to change, it's my perception of reality that has to change. We all know this when it comes to, I'm sure some of you have this experience of people in your life who have suffered from something like another kind of body dysmorphia, something like anorexia. There's a young woman that I remember working with years ago. It was just painful. She was in the hospital because she was so thin. She was 98 pounds, but she still perceived herself as being fat. Say, no, I still feel fat. I still feel fat. Like, wait a second, but your perception and reality is off. So it's not reality that has to change. It's your perception of reality that has to change. That's an act of love. In fact, there's this other version of body dysmorphia, this kind of misperception of one's body. It's called BIID. It stands for Body Integrity Identity Disorder. what BIID is it's when someone looks at, like, saying something like their hand and says, this isn't my hand. It feels foreign to me, or these legs feel foreign to me. In fact, there was a documentary I watched a number of years ago about a woman who she perceived herself to be a paraplegic. She perceived herself.
I think it's just because I don't think he realizes that we're born this way. It's not something you can change, much like sexuality. It's not something you can change or get over, all this kind of stuff. And it's not like some of these other ones that he's mentioning. It is different. It's to do with certain ways that gender works with appearance and dysphoria rather than dysmorphia. But I can explain that as much, but you guys already know that. I mean, a lot of you guys who are watching are going to be watching and you're either LGBT or you will be trans. And you guys understand that. So I watched most of that video, and that's generally what he said. I'm guessing he's kind of this kind of guy. I've seen a lot of stuff, is trying to kind of understand it, but you know, all he says is encourage you to be there for them and test them, but I don't think his words are helping. So
Please, you start getting that thing.
That video was 4 years ago. Okay, fair enough. It could be old views. And so I found this video, and it was Love and Same-Sex Attraction, Mike Schmidt.
Don't say anything wrong. Like, just, what's he gonna say? And the first thing I have to say is this, that none of what I'm gonna talk about today has anything to do with tolerance, because tolerance is about them. But when it comes to the church, it is never us and them. So we get here in a church conference and stuff, and we're like, let's all talk about them over there.
That's actually a really good way of like thinking about it, because there are a lot of people who are LGBT and who actually are within the church. And this video is 3 years ago, so it's 2016. It's slightly more recent, but that's a really good way of like, that's the inclusion, that at the end of the day we're all just people of all sorts of different types. Like we shouldn't all be in any particular group. We're all just us. If you are in this, specifically in this case Catholic community, I just wanted to show you that there are people out there that are accepting of you. So I feel like that's just a really nice message from the churches, that really you can, like gay marriage, you can be holy and you can be spiritual and everything, and you know, all sorts of religions, and also be LGBT and not feel shame. And I'm agnostic. I don't particularly have any like type of religion, but I'm also not atheist. Like I'm sort of, you know, here and there with that. But I knew what it was like to grow up with, as I mentioned earlier, I knew what it was like to grow up with that shame. I just felt so shameful all the time about feeling like I liked the other girls in the all-girls Catholic school. And I didn't know what being trans was till much later, but I remember I kissed one of the girls and stuff in the actual Catholic schools or whatever. And just generally I was, you know, experimenting with the girls in my junior school and stuff. And I just remember for years I just didn't tell anyone about it, and it was like a thing that I used to have like almost nightmares about people finding out about. And you know, I only realised recently, and I only kind of got over the shame recently, and it stuck with me for ages, that I was so shamed about it, but it's actually such a normal thing. Like when you're in junior school, like kissing other people in general, experimenting with people, you know, when you're like ages of like, you know, 10 onwards, like you're starting to think about that kind of thing. It is normal and natural and everything. But all I did was like experiment with some of the girls in the actual Catholic school, and it was seen in the Catholic school itself and with me as I just remember it was the grossest feeling, like a weight on your shoulders. You just feel all the time like you've got something following you around, like they're going to find out about it. And yeah, even till the age I was like 16, I didn't really tell that many people about it. And I remember confessing to my best friend about it, that I did that. And it was like a whole thing for so long. And only recently I realized it's totally normal. And if anyone's in the same situation, and you know, now it's different back then, YouTube wasn't that big, it wasn't too crazy big back then, but nowadays you might be in the Catholic convent or just in any sort of religious environment, whatever religion it is, I just obviously have experience with the Catholic side of it, and the nuns that, like, I remember growing up with the nuns, I would never be able to even show anything to do with me liking any of the girls in front of them. The Irish Catholic nuns, they would beat me. Alright guys, so I just worked out, so excuse whatever I'm wearing right now. I'm still a bandana boy though, still got my bandana on. After I finished watching those videos, I stopped halfway through. I thought the beginning half would be nice, it would be all cool and fun, and they were finally the Christians, Catholics we needed in this world.
Well, I think the world will tell you when it comes to homosexuality, you only got two options. Option number one, you can hide in the closet out of fear that if anyone knew you felt that way, they would hate you and be bigoted against you. Or if you want to live in the closet, and frankly who would, it's not a very comfortable living arrangement, then come out of the closet, embrace your sexual attractions as your identity, forget about God, the church, and the Bible, and do whatever you want with your body. So those are your options. Gay pride or gay shame. Now make your choice. Now, imagine you feel kind of stuck in the middle here. Okay, wait a minute. I don't really want to reject God, but I mean, gay shame? Is that my only option? Shame? I mean, why should I feel ashamed of an attraction I never chose? It's not like I woke up, it's like, oh, it's Tuesday, I think I'll be attracted to this person today. No, you don't choose your attractions, just your behavior, so why should you feel shame at something you never chose? Will people hate you for having these feelings? I'm sorry, yeah, sometimes they will. And unfortunately, these people are out there. You see them on TV with their signs, God hates gays. And I'm like, no, God hates your stupid sign. Okay, that's what he hates. But the problem is, fanatics like that make the world believe that if you believe in traditional marriage, you're a hateful, homophobic bigot.
But actually, I went back after making that video to watch the rest of them, and they just all turned kind of dark in the way that they were like, we want you to be part of the society, we want you to be one with us. And then by the end of it, they were like, but we still aren't going to accept you, basically. One of the videos, I will show a clip in a minute, but one of the videos he basically goes and says how even though, alright, don't be in the closet, don't be this and that, but marriage is made between a man and a woman. And I was like, I thought it was going to be a nice message. And then he goes and says this.
Like, if you experience this feeling, that's who you are. There's all these different identities you can have. But the fact is, the Catholic Church doesn't think there's 58 different types of people in the world. Well, there's gay persons and lesbian persons, bisexual persons, transgender persons, and so on. Now, the Church is not going to deny that some people have certain experiences, inclinations, and attractions. But what the Church affirms is that a person is a rational being. And what that means is there's really only three kinds of persons. There's divine persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. There's angelic persons, the holy angels, and the fallen angels, the demons. And then there's human persons, made male and female in the image and likeness of God. And so if you're a human who has homosexual attractions, you know what kind of person you are? You're a son of God or you're a daughter of God. That is the deepest truth about your identity. Approval, the affection and the admiration of another man, which I never received from my own father. And the world just taught me to sexualize my problems. May they get married, as if it's a question of permission. The question is, can that be a real marriage? Some will argue, well, the church just needs to be a lot more tolerant than it is. But you were not created to be tolerated. You were created to be loved. And if you love somebody, you can't lie to them. True. We love you and we need you in our lives as well. And the church is your home. You're called to communion, and let's do this thing together.
So, by the looks of things, we're never going to win. But no, there are a few YouTubers that I've at least heard of that are sort of like religious in the sort of more Christian Catholic sense of YouTubers, and they're actually pretty nice people, and they're pretty nice about it, and they're accepting about it.
In honor of Pride, two things. One, I'm wearing this shirt, and two, I wanted to tell you guys the full story of how I came to affirm the LGBTQ community as a Christian.
And I have friends who are Christian and Catholic and stuff that I've dated that are totally, completely chill about me being who I am and them being who they are. And then also I know some, for example, one of my housemates, he's Christian and he's never given me a hard time about me being myself. And he's not even part of the LGBT community, he's an ally. Just want you guys to know that it's there's this shame that you feel. It will pass eventually, but I just don't want you guys to feel it, because I don't want a religion, even though they keep telling you in this. I watched a few interviews as well of them being like, oh, it may feel really nice, it may feel really nice to be liberated, but the feeling that you're feeling when you come out, that pride, is actually because you know that it was wrong and that you were lying to everyone about being homosexual or having those homosexual feelings, and when you came out, then it felt good that you didn't have to lie anymore about the sins that you were making. And I was just like, no, that is not why it feels good. I will try and link everything down below and show you everything that I was watching, but I was like, that's not why it feels good. It feels good to not have to hide anymore, not because it was a bad thing, but because it was a bad thing that you were hiding in the sense that you weren't being your true self. So just don't listen to that part of the religious thing. Listen to the part that's all about love and acceptance and treating your friends and neighbours well. That kind of part is a good thing to listen to in any religion, and that's the good things that I took out of Catholic school. Didn't take away from Catholic school the negative things about LGBT people. Not like they ever mentioned it, but the sort of like shunning and the secretive and quietness behind, and how you should feel like that shame behind it. Don't take that away. You are you, be you, love you, because we all also do love you. So without me getting too hippie, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will get back to the outro. And I don't know, I just wanted to let you know, like, it's okay. And let me know if you guys are religious at all, or if you've experienced this kind of stuff in the comments down below this video. And please subscribe and everything, because I'll be speaking about more of my experience with my childhood and being stuck in that scenario and feeling that shame and stuff like that. But I now realise there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm just being myself and, you know, having a good time. And I was just like, we need to actually show some videos out here of people being nice who are from the church, who are from these sort of like church-based YouTube channels, and saying that, yeah, you are accepted and you are welcomed and you are part of the church, even if you are LGBT. Because a lot of the homophobia and stuff does come from church-based sources, it just in the world in general. And I hope that can change one day, where everyone can be accepted based on whatever, and even religion can start to accept LGBT people and the whole transgender thing. But the transgender thing's a bit different, because it's confusing to a lot of people, even transgender people. So that's got a little bit to go. But thank you guys for watching this video. It was a really random one. I didn't want to bring too many videos of, like, I don't know, Westboro Baptist Church into it and stuff like that, because, I mean, we all know what they're going to say. I mean, it would just be boring. But I'm so glad I'm over that shame, and I hope any of you guys who are feeling the same thing can realise there's nothing to be ashamed of. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Also, let me know in the comments down below what next video you'd like me to do. My creativity is running dry right now. Bye.